Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a topic I think you'll find really fascinating. It's all about some pretty creative ways to achieve your goals. And we're going to be looking at an episode called Unlocking Creativity to Achieve Your Goals. It's from this series called Achieving Your Best.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm really excited to unpack this with you and see, what we can learn.
Yeah, it seems like there's some real mindset shifts in this one. They kick it off with this concept of purposeful goal setting, which I think is really interesting.
Okay, purposeful. Yeah, I like the sound of that already. I'm guessing it's a bit more than just, writing down a to-do list.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it like this. If you want to save money, it's easy to kind of, lose steam along the way. But if you have a clear purpose behind it, like saving for a trip, or to start a business or invest in something,
Right.
suddenly it's not just about the money anymore.
So it's about connecting your actions to a deeper why. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And, that reminds me of something else they talk about in the episode, this idea of a powerful mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they meant by that?
Well, to me, it's all about resilience. That
Yeah.
ability to stay strong and focused even when things get tough.
Right.
Like imagine an athlete who gets a serious injury. I mean, they could easily just give up.
Yeah.
But a powerful mindset allows them to see that injury as a challenge to overcome,
Right.
part of their journey to coming back even stronger.
So it's not about ignoring the obstacles, but more about choosing how we respond to them.
Exactly.
And that's interesting. You see some people who bounce back from setbacks and then others it's like they get completely derailed.
Right.
And I wonder if it's this powerful mindset that makes the difference.
Yeah, that's a great observation. And speaking of bouncing back, this episode had a really interesting take on hope. And I don't mean the cheesy, wishful thinking kind of hope, like something a lot deeper.
Okay. I'm intrigued now. Hope isn't usually a word that I associate with serious, goal setting.
I know, right? But they highlighted some research showing that hopeful people actually cope better with stress, and they're more likely to just, keep going when things get tough.
Right.
Think about someone starting a business. I mean, those early days can be brutal, filled with uncertainty and setbacks.
Yeah.
It's hope, that belief in a brighter future, that fuels their persistence.
So it's not just blind optimism, but it's about having this vision
Yeah.
that you can hold on to even when things are challenging.
Exactly.
This is really resonating with me, It makes me think about all those times in my own life where hope really helped me kind of push through difficult situations. Have you ever experienced that?
Absolutely. And actually, it ties into another word they bring up in the episode, and that's meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's a connection between finding actions meaningful and staying motivated?
That's such a good question. I mean, it makes me wonder if meaningful actions are just naturally more motivating. If you truly believe in what you're doing, it's going to be easier to stick with it, even when it's hard.
Exactly. The episode talks about how linking your goals to your personal values can make them feel much more fulfilling.
Right.
Imagine you're trying to get in shape. Instead of just, focusing on losing weight, you could think about all the deeper benefits. Like having more energy to spend time with loved ones, or being able to do all the activities you enjoy, improving your overall health and well-being.
Yeah.
When you connect your actions to something that truly matters to you, it becomes more than just, checking off a box.
That's such a good point. It's about finding the deeper why behind your actions. And it brings us back to that, purposeful goal setting.
It does.
They all seem very connected.
They are. And this is where the episode gets really interesting, I think. It challenges us to think about how we approach our goals, even things like planning, which seems pretty straightforward, but that's where careful comes in.
Okay.
Now, I know you're someone who likes to just dive right in.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that word, careful?
Careful. Yeah, I mean, it sounds a little too cautious for someone who likes to take action, but I'm open to hearing how it fits into this whole framework. Does it mean avoiding risks altogether?
Not at all. It's about being strategic, and mitigating risks. Like, let's say you're investing in the stock market.
Okay.
A careful investor doesn't just throw money at the latest trends. They're going to research, diversify their portfolio,
Yep.
and think long term.
So it's more about making informed decisions rather than being, impulsive or reckless.
Exactly.
It's like that saying, measure twice, cut once.
Yes, exactly.
Careful planning is about setting yourself up for success by minimizing those unnecessary risks. But, all this talk about action and planning, it can be pretty exhausting. I wonder if this is where restful comes into play. Because even high achievers need downtime, right?
Absolutely. I know, I definitely push myself too hard sometimes.
Me too. Me too.
What do they say about rest in the episode?
Well, they emphasize that rest isn't just about recharging. It's actually crucial for creativity
Oh, wow.
and preventing burnout. And they gave an example of writers and artists who often find that their best ideas come after they've stepped away from a project.
That's interesting.
Have you noticed that in your own work at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I get so stuck on a problem and then I just take a walk or do something completely different and suddenly the solution just pops into my head.
It's like our brains need that space to process information
Yeah,
and make new connections.
exactly. And that reminds me of the next concept from the episode, this difference between being busy and taking useful actions,
Right.
which I think is something we can all relate to. Are all the tasks on our to-do lists actually moving us closer to our goals?
That is such a good question. It's so easy to get, caught up in just the whirlwind of activity and feel productive. But are we actually making progress? How do they suggest we approach this?
Well, they recommended breaking those large goals down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay.
It just makes the whole process less daunting. And it allows you to track your progress, which I think is really motivating. It's like that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
I like that.
Speaking of, unexpected connections, the last word they discussed was affectionate.
Huh. That seems a bit out of place in a conversation about achieving goals.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear how they tied that in.
Me too.
What do you think?
Well, my guess is that they're going to say that strong, supportive relationships provide the encouragement and motivation we need to persevere. It's like, think about an entrepreneur who's facing challenges and setbacks. Their network of friends, family, mentors, that can provide invaluable support.
For sure. It's like having a cheering section.
Right.
A group of people who believe in you and are there to pick you up when you stumble.
That kind of support can make such a huge difference. So it's not just about what we achieve, but who we have by our side.
Exactly. And I think that leads perfectly into the next section of the episode.
It seems like this episode is really reframing what it means to achieve our goals. It's not just about, grit and determination.
Right.
It's about, cultivating these qualities of being purposeful and powerful and hopeful and even affectionate.
Yeah.
It's almost like a whole new vocabulary for success.
It is a refreshing perspective, isn't it? And they don't stop there.
Yeah.
The episode goes on to suggest that even our goals themselves are influenced by something we might not expect, politics.
Wait, politics? I'm not sure I see the connection. How can politics possibly affect our personal goals?
Think about it this way. Political systems and ideologies shape so much of our lives. Our access to resources, education, healthcare, even the very air we breathe. All these factors inevitably influence what goals we set, what opportunities we pursue, and even what we believe is possible.
So it's like acknowledging that our personal journeys are happening within a larger context.
Exactly.
Like a system that can either support or hinder our progress.
Exactly. The episode hints at this idea that our individual goals are intertwined with those larger societal forces.
Right.
We can't achieve true success in isolation. We need a supportive and equitable environment that allows everyone to thrive.
That's a really profound point. It makes me think about how important it is to be aware of the, political landscape that we're navigating and how that might be shaping our aspirations, even subconsciously.
Absolutely. And it brings us back to the importance of those affectionate connections we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's not just about having a cheering section for our personal goals. It's about building communities that support each other's aspirations and advocate for a more just and equitable world.
So it's like a call to action.
Yeah.
To be informed, to engage in conversations about the systems that shape our lives, and to work together to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to, reach their full potential.
Precisely. And that ties in beautifully with this episode's emphasis on, being more human in our approach to achievement. It's about recognizing that we are complex beings with a range of emotions and needs and aspirations.
It's about embracing that, messiness of the journey, the setbacks, the moments of doubt, and finding strength and support in our connections with others. It's not just about reaching the destination, but who we become along the way.
And it's about using our unique talents and passions to make a positive impact on the world. It's about realizing that our individual success is deeply intertwined with, the well-being of our communities and the health of our planet.
Wow, that's a powerful thought. It's like this episode is encouraging us to, think bigger, to connect our personal goals to something larger than ourselves.
And in doing so, perhaps we can discover a deeper sense of purpose and meaning in our pursuits.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. I
Yeah.
feel like we've uncovered so many, valuable takeaways, and I'm curious what's resonating most with you, what's standing out as, particularly relevant to your own goals and aspirations.
For me, it's the reminder that achieving our best is not just about checking off a list of accomplishments, but about cultivating certain qualities and mindsets that allow us to thrive, both personally and collectively. Being purposeful in our actions, resilient in the face of challenges, and hopeful for a brighter future.
I love that. And I think it's a great message to, leave our listener with. As you continue on your journey, remember to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Embrace the messiness and never underestimate the power of connection and community.
And perhaps, as you reflect on the vocabulary we've explored today, purposeful, powerful, hopeful, meaningful, careful, restful, useful, and even affectionate.
Yeah.
It might spark an idea for a small action you can take today to move closer to your biggest goal.
That's a wonderful thought. Every journey begins with a single step. So what will yours be? That's such a powerful question to end on. Like, what small step can you take today? But before we wrap up, I wanted to circle back to that idea of politics, influencing our goals. It's really got me thinking.
Yeah, it is a fascinating thing to think about. It really does suggest that even like the most personal aspirations exist within this larger, framework.
Exactly. It's like realizing that our own individual journeys are just this one small part of a much larger tapestry.
Right.
And that tapestry is woven with, political discourse, social movements, economic policies, all these forces that really impact our lives in huge ways.
Yeah, it is a reminder that we're not just individuals striving for, personal success. We're citizens, members of a community, participants in this larger narrative.
Yeah.
And our goals, big or small, they all contribute to shaping that narrative.
It almost sounds like a call to action, to not just like focus on our own aspirations, but to really engage in these conversations and efforts that are shaping the world around us.
Exactly. To be informed, to advocate for change, to use our voices and our actions to create a more just and equitable society. One that, supports everyone's dreams. Because ultimately, our individual success is intertwined with well-being of our communities and the health of our planet.
Wow, that's a really powerful thought to end on. It's a reminder that achieving our best is not just about, reaching those personal milestones, but about contributing to a world where everyone has that opportunity to thrive.
And that, I think, is the true definition of success.
Beautifully said. So to our amazing listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has, sparked your curiosity, expanded your vocabulary for success, and inspired you to take action both personally and collectively.
Yeah.
And remember those words that we've explored today: purposeful, powerful, hopeful, meaningful, careful, restful, useful, and even affectionate. Let those words guide your actions, shape your mindset, and remind you that achieving your best is not just about what you accomplish, but who you become along the way. So until next time, keep striving, keep dreaming, and keep believing in your power to make a difference.